All right, we're going to talk about child development theory today, just a little bit, not way deep, but number one on your study guide says to define child development. And we kind of have talked about this a little bit in class before we had to go online, but really child development is the study of a child from conception, that's when egg and sperm meet, to age 18. And so even you in the area of human growth and development are considered a child because you were less than 18, at least most of you are. There might be a few of you who are a little older. The stages of development, the next part, number two on your study guide. The first one is the infant, and it lasts from birth to 12 months. We call that the infant stage or the infancy stage. The second is toddler, from 12 months to 4 years. Actually, between these two stages, there is a developmental process, a big deal that happens that takes babies or infants from the infant stage to the toddler. Anybody guess what that might be? Dang, I wish you guys were here to answer that. It is walking, and that's why we call them toddlers, because they actually do toddle and don't really walk. The next stage is the preschooler. Notice it's not hyphenated, just so you guys know, preschooler, and that's from children from ages 4 to 6. Then we have the school age, and they're from 6 to 12, and then adolescence, or the adolescent. And there's another developmental process that happens between school age and adolescent that takes a child from school age to adolescent, and it is puberty or maturation. So those are the 5 stages of development. Hopefully you got those written down. Sometimes you might have to stop the videos that I do and write notes and then start the video again, because I'm going to move fast, probably faster than I did right here. So now that I've said that, you know that you can stop and start the video. Hopefully you figured that out. Anyway, all right, we're going to define growth, and we're also going to give 3 examples of it. So growth is an increase in size or amount, a physical increase in size of amount. Some examples: weight, height, getting their teeth, their hair growing, fingernails, just things that are very, very easy to see. These are all defined in the area of growth and development as growth. Then we have development. Define what development is and give 3 examples of it. Development is the ability to do things that are difficult and complex. So what would be some examples of that? Well, rolling over, even though that's physical development, that's still something that's difficult and complex. Name recognition, talking, even babbling, recognizing mom and dad, starting to see that they have an attachment. All of those things, and many, many others, would be examples of development. So the next one on number 5, we have these laws of growth and development, and it's kind of interesting to see how this works. In the margin out to the left side of number 5, where you're writing, there is a little bit of space next to A, B, C, and D on the left side, and I'd like you to draw this. Basically, you just do it as a stick figure head and an arrow down, and you'll see why. But growth proceeds from head to toe, and there's a term here which is not on the slides, but we call that cephalocaudal. And cephalocaudal, cephalo meaning head, caudal meaning tail or toe. And we can actually see how growth proceeds from head to toe. When a baby's born, they can't do anything. Somebody hands you a baby and their head, they have no head strength. So everybody says, oh, hold their head, hold their head. You've probably heard somebody say that before. And so then they start to have some neck strength and be able to hold their head up. And then they start to be able to roll over, and then to sit up, and then to stand, and then eventually to walk. If you notice that, growth proceeded from that head to the toe. So the next one is growth proceeds. This is B, by the way. Growth proceeds from near to far. And so you can draw that little arrow across right here. I'll use the cursor. You can draw your arrow across, near to far. And this has a term too. It's called proximal distal. Proximal distal. Proximal meaning near, and distal, sounds like distance, meaning far. So proximal distal or near to far. And we can see this even, what we talked about before. They start to have some neck strength. Then they start to be able to roll over. That has to have shoulder and core strength here. And then they start to be able to crawl, which has to do with their arms, more of their forearms. And then eventually they start to be able to do more things with their hand. You could even take your hand, and we see that proximal distal happens there. They grab everything at first with their whole hand, and they don't use their individual fingers. And then they start to use the pincher grasp, which is the first finger and the thumb. And then they start to, have more and better strength through the farthest away from the center of their palm of their hand. So I hope that made sense. I think I got off on a tangent. Anyway, growth proceeds from head to toe and from near to far. The next one is growth proceeds from simple to complex. We don't learn quantum physics before we learn that 1 + 1 is 2. Also, we learn our name, and then we learn other words and other people's names. So growth always proceeds from something simple to complex. And growth is continuous and orderly. we're always growing and developing. It doesn't matter how old we are, we're still developing and we're still learning. At least, we are, whether we are or not, or whether we are purposely doing that or not, we should be always developing. You don't all of a sudden get out of bed and hey, one side of my body grew today, and you're limping on one side. That doesn't happen. It is continuous and orderly. So those are the 4 basic laws of growth and development. We've talked about this part before. This is number 6. The areas of growth and development are physical, cognitive, social, and emotional. And you know what those mean. You don't even have to define them, but those are the 4 areas of growth and development. Then we have 2 theorists to talk about. Erik Erikson, who was a child development theorist who studied emotional development, is what you can put there, and social, emotional and social development, really. In fact, I'll put those right there. And also his 8 stages of man theory. He has these 8 stages now. We definitely won't be going through all of these, but we will be going through these first 3 because they cover the areas of children that we talk about in our class. So that's Erik Erikson. One way to remember is Erik Erikson. They both start with an E, and emotional starts with an E, and 8 starts with an E. So that all helps if we end up having to take our state final exam. All right. And also another thing about his theory, it's not on here, but you could probably write it down, is it's always something versus something. And it's something good versus usually something negative. So you see trust right here versus mistrust. All of these have something versus something, and it's the positive versus the negative or the less desirable. There's a video. You need to watch that. I'm not going to have you watch it with me, but watch it on the link that I have in the PowerPoint link that I sent you. And the last one, number 8, is Jean Piaget, is how you say that because it's French. So Jean Piaget. We usually lots of times just refer to him as Piaget. And Piaget has to do with cognitive development, how we think. We go through these different stages, and we will be going through these stages right here at TITCH here, but mainly sensory motor and pre-operational stage. This is hard because it's hard to think how another person would think at a different level because we think at a higher level right now. But I'll do my best as we go through those stages. So those that's all about theory. Good luck. Oh, hang on. I noticed that there was a video at the end of this one too about Jean Piaget. So you can watch that as well. I'm not going to show you videos on my videos. Okay, good luck, guys. Bye.